All right, family. So let's get into this. So I'm sure everyone knows the story, unless you've been hiding under a rock. This is like the biggest story right now. Very, very tragic. But for those of you who don't know the story, let's just quickly recap the story.
Who is Jason Arday, the Cambridge professor accused of plagiarism? Jason Arday, who was the youngest black professor in Cambridge University's history, resigned after it launched an investigation into him, saying he no longer wished to live under a spotlight. Cambridge has been under pressure to launch an inquiry into Arday, who is accused of plagiarizing his PhD thesis and has made extraordinary claims about his athletic feats and fundraising achievements. The university has said it would investigate his academic qualifications and honorary appointments, as well as research misconduct linked to his journal publications. The announcement came after the Times submitted fresh evidence to the university that large parts of his research were fabricated, including impossible evidence, with multiple examples of passages nearly identical to a 2009 Brunel University doctoral thesis. Cambridge said there are a number of ongoing complaints about his academic research under investigation. He is also accused of exaggerating his sporting and fundraising achievements, including claims that he ran 300 miles in 3 days, raised more than £5 million for charity, and installed pumps for WaterAid. In a resignation letter published by the Good Law Project, which had previously launched a petition defending him, Arday said he was resigning for his well-being. Arday did not respond to any of the allegations of plagiarism or misconduct, nor address any of the other claims he is said to have made.
Look at that. And big up to Dr. Shola. A couple of days ago, she posted this video. Now remember, this was probably about 4 or 5 days ago. Dr. Shola posted this video.
You people are trying to kill Jason Arday or get him killed. Because what the hell is this national circus over Jason Arday, Jason Arday, Jason Arday, Jason Arday?
It's true though, I've never seen so many news articles and so many videos about a person who hasn't committed a crime. There were so many videos, so many news outlets were talking about this in a negative way, by the way, saying, it's all to do with DEI. Yeah, if it weren't for DEI, he wouldn't even have the role and that sort of stuff. But it was just so much vitriol over the last, 20 odd days. I can't believe the amount of articles that they wrote about this man. Yeah, non-stop. And you'd think he was a criminal the way they treated him.
You people are trying to kill Jason Arday or get him killed. Because what the hell is this national circus over Jason Arday, Jason Arday, Jason Arday, Jason Arday? Did you hear about Jason Arday? I'm saying, what? Did he commit a freaking crime? Does he owe you money? The only serious allegation made against him was one of plagiarism, which is unfounded. I'm all for holding people.
And by the way, the Cambridge University did do like an investigation, an inquiry into the plagiarism claims, and they came back. The first one, I think they're running one at the moment, but their first inquiry came back and said there's no evidence of plagiarism. So when she says it's unfounded, she's actually correct.
Accountable? But what you're all doing is not accountability. It is public crucifixion. You know exactly what you're doing. And we all know that this isn't even about Jason Arday anymore. This is all about you finding your perfect black poster boy to bring down DI and make it much more difficult for black British people in British academia.
Exactly. Exactly. So when it comes onto this story now, unfortunately, and remember, she posted that before he passed away, but look what happened. So on Friday, Jason Arday, professor at Centre of Cambridge Plagiarism Row, found dead. So sad. Academic was pronounced dead at his home in South London after police called to address after 3 p.m. on Friday. So look at that. All of the vitriol online, all of the media scrutiny over a man who literally, he didn't commit a crime or anything. And this is the result. So some people are starting to say, was this a media lynching? Was it like a news media lynching? What happened to Jason Arday?
Jason Arday. A news media lynching Professor Jason Arday, one of Britain's most prominent black academics and the man who became the youngest black professor ever appointed at the University of Cambridge, has died at the age of just 41. His death comes following weeks of intense media scrutiny, allegations concerning his academic work, and his resignation from Cambridge University on the 5th of August. Arday denied allegations of plagiarism, while acknowledging that there had been mistakes in some of his earlier academic work. He was subsequently found unresponsive at a property in Battersea, South London. Police have described his death as unexpected but not suspicious. His family have spoken of their devastation and have said Jason had endured what they described as a prolonged campaign of misinformation, harassment, and abuse. So tonight we ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Was what happened to Professor Jason Arday a news media lynching?
Was it a news media lynching? Now, this content creator said that it was a digital lynching, and she actually was trying to document the amount of articles that they talked about and went at this man. And she said that it was so many, she was like screen recording all of the articles that she could find. And it was so many that it took her over 9 minutes. And she had to stop, but it took her over 9 minutes of her screen recording, finding all of the articles going against this man.
The thing about Jason Arday is that I don't think people, or even myself, really understood the enormity of the media harassment and racist attacks he was receiving. I was planning on going through screen recording, going through, some of the media articles, some of like the reports, and I'd narrow the search down from June when the plagiarism was reported, and then till the day before he died. August 13th. I'm just going to move out of the way so you can see some of these. I was screen recording for 9 minutes. There was still loads more to go. They're being deleted as well.
And they're
so
being
I
deleted.
implore you, if you don't believe it or if you don't understand the enormity of this, please go on, search from June until August 13th and you will see the enormity. It's insane. It's a digital lynching.
Digital lynching, yeah? And then some content creators are like, is this what you wanted? Are you happy now?
I hope the British media is happy now. In 22 days, almost 250 articles were written about an unfounded accusation of plagiarism. Now he's dead. Now he's dead. I hope you guys are happy. Where was this energy when Prince Andrew, a member of the British royal family, was seen in a picture on the Epstein Island, clearly fondling an unconscious child on the ground? Where was this energy? Rachel Reeves lied on her CV. Where was this energy? Matt Goodwin was accused of fabricating quotes. Where was this energy? Jonathan Reynolds falsely claimed to be a solicitor. Where was this energy? 250 articles in 22 days. On the 5th of August, when he had taken it up to his neck, he resigned. And part of his letter said that he had reached the limits of what any human being should reasonably be expected to endure. And the media responded with 188 more articles, putting him under vitriolic scrutiny. Jason was the youngest ever black professor in the history of Cambridge, appointed at the age of 37. Now today he's been hounded by the British media to his own demise. And every day we talk about mental health and kindness. And he is autistic, by the way. He's autistic. Nobody should go through that. But knowing that autistic people have a higher probability to commit suicide, the media did not care about being sensitive, being kind, and being compassionate.
The media being sensitive, kind, and compassionate, that's 3 things you're not getting out of the white UK media.
He's autistic, by the way. He's autistic. Nobody should go through that. But knowing that autistic people have a higher probability to commit suicide, the media did not care about being sensitive, being kind, and being compassionate. Now, I'm not saying that allegations of plagiarism should be treated with levity because of his skin color, but I'm quite appalled by the double standard. It seems like the motivation when a black person is involved is quite different, and the scales on which the media judges changes immediately the color of the skin does. After the accusation of plagiarism was seen to be untrue, they started puncturing on his biography and the things he had said he personally achieved. It seemed like they were so adamant and vehemently determined to nail him to the cross. And now they've succeeded. A young man, 41, dead.
Dear racist white people, stop me when you hear a lie. White people have been caught lying too. Rachel Reeves lied all over her CV. Jonathan Reynolds claimed to be a solicitor. Now, how could you make such a claim? The media did not drive those people, thankfully, to do the unthinkable. But after Professor Jason Arday stepped down because he said, I've reached the limit to anyone can reasonably be expected to reach, the media kept going after him. Left-wing media, right-wing media. In fact, they went after him more after he resigned. They wanted more.
Are you hearing this, family? There was actually more news articles after he resigned. It's like they knew, oh yeah, we've got him now. And then that's when they started to go in with the news articles. Yeah? You gotta know who you're dealing with. These people are psychopathic. Psychopathic, I'm telling you.
Right-wing media. In fact, they went after him more after he resigned. They wanted more. What more do you get from someone after they resigned? Did you want him to do something to himself? When Rachel Reeves was found to have lied about her experience, did they attack the fact that she was white? No. The headline did not read, white appointee caught lying. But for Professor Jason Arday, his skin color is all that mattered.
His skin color is all that mattered. Now, speaking of his skin color, family, we're gonna talk. We're gonna speak some truth tonight. But I'm just gonna add in my conjecture here, yeah? Because I've seen videos and pictures of him when he was younger, and he was much darker. Now, you know me, I'm always on this melanin thing, so my observation goes straight to his skin. And I'm thinking, what happened? What happened? Now, this is my conjecture. I'm just putting out my conjecture. I believe that the usual suspects got to this man a long time ago. And if you don't know who the usual suspects are, look on that picture on the left and look in the background. Look in the background. He's even got hands on his shoulder and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, you're a good one for us. This is my conjecture. I feel like about 10 years ago, if not longer, they physically got their hands on him, mentally got their hands on him, spiritually, psychologically, you know, I feel like they touched him. Literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, he got touched by the usual suspects and it changed him. Just look at these two pictures. Look at how different he looks. It's the same person, it's the same smile. It's not just the skin color that's changed. Like, his demeanor seems to have changed as well. Yeah. But that's me. I feel like they got to him and they changed him. So when they started to plaster his face everywhere when he got the role of the first black or youngest black Cambridge professor, I was just like, uh-oh. Because anytime you see the mainstream media posting a black person and putting them on a pedestal, that is a red flag. That is a red flag, family. Yeah. When you start to see the mainstream media, these psychopaths start to post a black person, talk about, yeah, this black person's amazing and put him on a pedestal and all that sort of stuff. They do that to tear you down. They literally do that stuff to tear you down, and it's sickening. And I'm so glad that a lot of us are starting to notice this and post about it.
You lot bullied an autistic black boy to death. You lot are shit, I can't even lie. You lot are shit still, blood. I ain't gonna say no names, but like who the hat fits, bro. You know when I have to ask certain times, like blood, like should there be a duty of care? Because that's a M. That's actually you lot bullied him to kill himself.
Bullied him to kill himself.
Still. And he's autistic. Mental health, like bro, no morals, hell for you lot still. Judgment, I swear to God. Because that's disgusting, bro. I don't even care. I don't even care if he lied or plagiarized it, bro. Like, what, bro? Everyone's lying, bro. You're all liars, bro. I'm lying. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, bro.
That's such a good point. Like, these people carry on like they're the most honest people on the planet. Do you get what I'm saying? They lie the most. They're the kings of lying. If anything, that's what pisses them off about this Jason Arday thing. The fact that he did allegedly, what they do, they plagiarize their work. They lie to get into positions. That's what they do. Do you understand? So they probably thought it was an absolute piss take that one one of us did it. How dare you try and act like us? We do this thing, not you. How dare you? You know you have to work. Remember what your parents told you? You have to work twice as hard as us. Don't try and cheat the system like we do. Do you get what I'm saying? They hate the fact that, again, it's alleged because I don't know. It hasn't been proven yet. But they hate the fact that we or someone with melanin actually may have done the same thing that they do to get into high positions.
Oh, but you lot bullied the youth. Bullied the autistic kid. Mental. Mental. I can't believe it, bro. But I have to ask now, should there be a duty of care? Because, bro, the Daily Mail, all these papers, bro, no repercussions, bro.
Daily Mail, Times, the Times, they came out with a story. The Times were terrible. And if you remember, family, the Times, that's the same newspaper that were talking about the three sisters from Brighton Beach who went missing. And if you remember, there was a lady from the Times who interviewed the auntie and the dad, and she was on some foolishness. So all of them have blood on their hands. Do you understand? Daily Mail, Times, The Guardian, all of it. The ones on YouTube, like GB News. Oh my gosh, they were going in on him. All of them.
And that blood's clearly on their hands. You get me, bro? My man's left his whole family. He's got kids and that. And he's left them because he couldn't deal with the pressure, bro. That's why man have to take my hats off. You see, when man started this social media thing, yeah, I didn't realize how much people would have an opinion on how one chooses to live their life. You get me? Until you've got 100 messages in your inbox with some people telling you to suck your mum and other people saying, yo, I love what you're doing. You get me? There's good and bad. But you see, when it's all bad, pressure met pipe burst, bro.
And by the way, there will be some bad language in this. A lot of people are angry, frustrated, so you might hear some bad language in some of these videos. But it's real talk. It's real talk.
Pressure met pipe burst, bro. And there ain't no duty of care or no repercussions for the people that be pushing people over the edge. I just hope you lot are happy. For everyone that was bullying him, you got it. You won. Like, look, congratulations. You won. He killed himself, innit? That's it. He gave up. Fucking, oh, bro. People make me sick, you know.
These people are sickening.
This is what you lot wanted. This is what you lot wanted. You wanted to get rid of this poor man. You wanted to get rid of this poor man. R.I.P. Jason Arday. I don't understand. It's like you were trying to get blood out of a stone. You tried to say that the man got his position through plagiarism. Yeah? Cool, no problem. The university came and cleared the man's name. You lot was hounding down the man. You was hounding down the man. What did you want to happen? What did you want to happen? There's certain blog pages that posted this man daily. Like, what did you want to change? What did you want to happen? Now the man now the man has unalived himself, or whatever the situation is. Oh my God, God forbid. What do you have to say? What do you actually have to say? I need to understand what you have to say. Because as I said, it's like you were trying to get blood out of a stone. Now you've got your blood. You've got the blood. Wicked crosses people. You've got it. You got what you wanted. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed at the fact that this man has passed away. Because you know why? You could have left the man, but you couldn't leave the man. And the wickedest part of this whole situation is that there are other people who have actually been found guilty of this plagiarism stuff you speak of. Okay, where are they? I don't know their names. I don't even know the people's names.
Oh, I do. Look, check this out. Talking about Jason Arday. Let's put them on the Summer Jam screen. Let's talk about them.
In February 2026, just 6 months ago, it was revealed that Nicholas Martin, a white academic, was found to have forged a degree from the University of Cambridge, falsified his age, and fabricated magistrate credentials. It was treated as an individual case of wrongdoing. In April 2026, just 4 months ago, it was revealed that Florence Monteclair, a white academic, invented a fictional body to award himself a medal which he bought himself at a fake ceremony which genuine ministers and Nobel laureates attended, and the doctors that he used to get a pay rise was also fake. It was treated as an individual case of wrongdoing. In August 2026, it was revealed that Jason Arday, a black academic, plagiarised his PhD thesis had to correct journals due to sourcing and citation issues, falsified a book publication, and falsely claims to hold honorary positions at elite universities. All black academics and their achievements are being called into question. In short, you don't give a fuck about academic integrity. If you're clutching your pearls over the lad with the dreads while ignoring his two fellow white, dodgy academics who were both literally found out in the last 6 months.
There you go. And there's more. This is the thing. They don't just do the plagiarism thing when they're in academia. They do the essay thing. It's like it's part of their DNA. They do the essay thing. If you don't understand what I mean by essay, listen.
Have you ever heard of Simon Goldhill, the University of Cambridge professor who resigned a couple of months ago after a sexual assault investigation? What about Dr. Peter Hutchinson? 10 female undergraduates made complaints against him for sexualised and sexist language. The University of Cambridge allowed him to continue in his role, but with some restrictions. When he broke those restrictions, he was permanently excluded from the university, then reappointed 2 years later, although he later resigned. What about Professor David Latchman? He presided over a laboratory that for over a decade consistently produced fraudulent research, including manipulating images and making up data. He's now the Vice-Chancellor of the University of London. Do you know who Sylvia Bouffon-Pals is? 13 papers either authored or co-authored by her had to be redacted due to data and image manipulation. She still works at the University of Manchester today. I'm guessing for 99% of you the answers were no, you've never heard of them. And I'm only picking on those 4 people due to brevity. This video could be 10 times longer. But you've all definitely heard of Jason Arday, who tragically died yesterday. Let's just assume for this mind experiment that every accusation against Arday is correct. He plagiarised his thesis, he could talk before he was 11, and he exaggerated how much money he'd raised for charity and distances walked. Do you think the media attention given to Arday's alleged wrongdoings is proportional to the wrongdoings of the academics I previously mentioned? Even after he said he couldn't handle the media attention and resigned, the media still hounded him with stories such as Arday was late for work. And if you believe that Arday's alleged wrongdoings received a disproportionate amount of media attention, why do you think Arday received the kind of scrutiny that these other academics did not?
There's one answer to that. So at the end, he said, why do you think Arday's receiving the kind of scrutiny that these other academics are not? And there's one reason for that. We live in a system of white supremacy. Now, some black people don't like that term, white supremacy, but that's their term. They made up this term. So I'm just saying what they called the system. And it's a system. People act like they don't understand the system when this shows you that it's a system. It weren't just Daily Mail. It weren't just GB News. It weren't just CNN. It weren't just Sky. It weren't just The Independent. It weren't just The Guardian. It was all of them. They all are part of the system. They work together in a system. Yeah. And as some of you know, I used to run this as a course, The Hidden Science of White Supremacy, about 10 years ago. I might have to bring it back because a lot of the stuff that I talk about on this course, you just see it playing out. So nothing surprises you. You just see it playing out. And the information that I got to write this course was from a book by an elder, an ancestor. He's transitioned now, by the name of Neely Fuller Jr. And Neely Fuller Jr., he has a famous saying. And his famous saying is,
if you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
Everything else you understand will only confuse you. So when we're talking about white supremacy, understand that that's racism. He says, if you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism. So all the people that say, oh, black people can be racist, name me, and this is for everyone listening right now, name me a time in history where black people used a system to go after a white man, and then because of that pressure, the white man offed himself. Name me any time in history where black people used a system. In other words, they were using media platforms and all type and government and all that type of stuff, working together to go after one white dude, and then because of that pressure, the white dude offed himself. Name me one time. You won't be able to do it. You know why? Because we don't have a system. Even if a black person was rude to a white person and calling him names and that sort of stuff. That's not a system. They run a system. That's the reason why all of these folks, the amount of articles that were written, they were all part of one system. They probably all had the same script. All right, make sure you post this, make sure you say this, make sure you do that. People don't understand that we live in this system and how vile the system is. Do you get me? And let's go back to Dr. Shola because again, she said from the start, you guys are trying to kill him. That was before we found out, obviously, what happened on Friday. But since then, obviously, Dr. Shola has had to say some more.
I'm so angry right now, I'm shaking. I just heard from MP Belle Ribeiro Arday, who is the MP of Jason Arday and his family. And she's just informed me that the British media are harassing Jason Arday's grieving family. They're hounding them.
So they hounded the man, yeah? And the man couldn't take it. And who knows what happened to him? Because again, they're being very vague with what happened to him. But now they're trying to hound his family as well. You gotta understand, we're dealing with people who don't have a soul. You gotta have some form of humanity to say, do you know what? Let's leave the family alone. They're like, no. Now they're hounding the family.
At home, reporting from outside their home. They've actually reported the road of his house. And they're hounding family members for comments? Like have they not done enough? Are these people mad? Jason Arday has children. What the actual hell? Are you trying to kill his children like you killed their father? Are you people mad? Have you no compassion?
No.
What the actual hell? Have you not done enough? You hounded and smeared Jason Arday to death. And now you're...
And yeah, people are talking about Shade Borough, which is black owned. Yeah, they've got blood on their hands as well. Shade Borough, they were posting him 24/7. They were posting him all throughout last week, just non-stop posting. So yeah, they're part of the problem as well, unfortunately. Yeah.
Doing to his family, get the fuck away from Jason Arday's family. Get the fuck away from Jason Arday's home. Get the fuck away from Jason Arday's children now. How freaking dare you? Are you mad? I want the names of the bloody journalists, the photographers, whatever freaking TV or radio station that's participating in this monstrosity. I swear to God, we are not mad enough. Get the fuck away from them now.
Boy, oh my days. But this is the thing. It's like you can't talk to these people. It's like they don't have a soul. It's like literally they don't have reason. How can you go after the man's family after what just happened? Yeah. And it gets worse, fam. It gets worse. Does anyone know the name of this vile woman? Yeah, she taught. What channel is this? It's Talk. It says Talk there. So Talk, is it Talk TV or whatever? But this vile woman was going at him non-stop for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. This vile woman was going at him non-stop for the last 2 weeks. Now, this video was from a couple days ago. Again, before the tragedy happened on Friday. And just listen to this exchange, yeah? Listen to this vile woman and listen to what she says.
All I'm saying is we can hold more than one thought in our heads at once. I can be furious with what Jason Arday has done. I can be furious with the institutional failure at Cambridge and its publishers, with the diversity and inclusion agenda, which has prioritised equality of outcome over equality of opportunity. I can be furious at all of that, and then also feel sorry for a person who, partially of his own accord, has had his public life, has had his public and professional life investigated and scrutinised in the most public way, and say, I don't want him to do anything stupid and irreversible.
Oh no, I mean, you're worried he might harm himself. I would definitely not want that to happen.
I don't think that is an unfair point of view to have. I think it's quite a fair.
I also think there's an element where people need to live the consequences of their lies.
What?
I agree, but we wouldn't want anything terrible to happen to this man. Would you like something terrible to happen to him?
I've just said categorically.
That is an unfair point of view to have. I think it's quite a fair.
I also think there's an element where people need to live the consequences of their lies.
I agree, but we wouldn't want anything terrible to happen to this man. Would you like something terrible to happen to him?
I've just said categorically I would
So, and then she goes straight to doubling down on he needs to suffer his own consequences or something along those lines. Yeah. This was before what happened. Yeah. The guy was saying, I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. Yeah. I don't want him to harm himself, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but people need to suffer from their own consequences of their actions. Like he needs to suffer from the consequences of his actions. She said that, and then we all know what happened on Friday. Check this out. So the guy, again, we don't know what fully happened, but it seems as though he took his own life. Yeah. This vile woman, this piece of filth, went onto X. You know what X is? That's Twitter. Yeah. And she posts about Jason Arday. What do you think she said about Jason Arday? Listen to this.
I literally cannot believe what I've just read. This is one of the most shocking, in my opinion, potentially sociopathic comments I could have ever expected to read in the aftermath of the tragic passing away of Jason Arday. This is the journalist Julia Hartley Brewer saying this on X. I'm pretty sure Jason Arday's huge book advance would be enough to cover his funeral costs. Give your money to a more deserving cause. This is in terms of people potentially contributing to a crowdfunder for his funeral. How disassociated from the human condition must you be to be able to even write something like that? And this comes after, yesterday, her saying the only person responsible for Jason Arday's death is Jason Arday. This is the man has only just passed away. And she sees fit to throw these words and these judgments into the public realm. He was a liar and a fraud who was rightly...
So I got no time for these folks, I got no time for these folks. They're all usual suspects. They're all of them. Anything that goes, and this is what Neely Fuller says. Neely Fuller says in his book that anything weird, anything strange that happens with black people, anything, the usual suspects are to blame. Yeah? Anything. I don't care what you're talking about. Black on black crime, whatever you're talking about, the usual suspects are to blame. Do you understand? So when it comes on to pointing fingers, it's always going to be at these folks. Do you get me? I see people online talking about, oh, I'm so upset with the black community and I'm so upset with black people. No, that's not where we're pointing the finger, fam. You don't point the finger at us. Do you understand? We're part of the solution. If anything, you point the finger at your own folks to do something about this. But when it comes on to who's to blame, like Neely Fuller says, it's always the usual suspects.
Exposed. If you've got nothing nice to say, why don't you say nothing? How can you be so disconnected from the human aspect of this? A man has passed away. His family is grieving, and you are still seeking to legitimize the appallingness of this news by spreading horrible, horrible messages, talking about how essentially he got his just desserts. How is that human? How is she allowed to spread this filth? And she's doing it on social media, but she's also an official journalist. And what I've noticed is journalists are allowed to pursue people, harass people, write repeated stories about people constantly if they've got the banner of a sanctioned news outlet above their head. But if any of us, civilians, independent media, whatever you want to call any of us, or people that have had the articles written about them, we have, if we try and turn the tables and name you, talk about you, suddenly you need to get all the wagons round you and call it, I don't know what you're going to call it, vigilantism or something. What you're basically saying is, it's okay for us to pursue you as journalists, but you're not allowed to shout back, name us.
Yeah. So this is the system that we're living in, yeah? And before I open up the forum, I'm just going to go back to what I was saying with regards to my conjecture. And it goes back to this family. And again, such a sad, tragic story. And obviously you don't want to speculate. We don't know. No one knows what's going on. No one knows what happened to him. I'm sure they're going to quote unquote launch an investigation. We all know what happens when they say they're going to launch an investigation. That means they're going to do absolutely, positively nothing. They're going to do nothing because Last time they said they were going to launch an investigation was for those three sisters who were found unalive on Brighton Beach. They said they were going to launch an investigation for that. We still don't know what the outcome of that is. Apparently, the inquest got extended to October, and I've talked about that before, where every time they talk about launching an investigation, it will always get extended and extended and extended to the point where we forget about it and then they don't need to do any more work. That's what they did with the three sisters. That's what they did with Grenfell. That's what they did with Stephen Lawrence. This is what they do. Yeah, they launch an investigation, nothing happens, they extend it and that sort of stuff. But my thing is, again, me being the melanin man, I'm thinking, what the hell did they do to this man? Because over 10 years ago, he was dark skinned. But when you look at the pictures online, he looks different, family. And there are questions. There are lots of questions that obviously we're not going to get the answers to. Do you get what I'm saying? There are questions about what happened. Obviously, something happened from when he was younger with darker skin to when the usual suspect started to post about him, which was 3 years ago, and we saw this face and it was different. Yeah. So that's my conjecture. I feel like they got him. And again, this is just my conjecture. I feel like they got him over 10 years ago. They've been grooming him. This is just me. Don't say that this is a narrative or whatever. This is just me. I feel like they groomed him and then even coached him with regards to his script that he was going to use to tell the world about his backstory. Then someone at the university found out about some of his exaggerations and then put him on blast. And now everyone's kind of running away from him, even though they kind of set him up. This is my conjecture. I feel like he was set up, even with the job, it was kind of like a setup. Because let's say that what they're saying is true and he did plagiarize his work. Big Cambridge University, remember it's Cambridge and Oxford that people look at as two of the best universities in the whole world. They couldn't do enough checks to check to see if someone who's applying for a big professor role didn't plagiarize. No, man, these people, when it comes on, especially when it comes on to melanated folks, they vet them. We talked about doctors last week. They vet them. They're not going to let anyone slip through the net without the right qualifications and that sort of stuff. So I don't believe the story. But that's me. I want to hear what the family's got to say. So I'm going to open up the forum. You guys raise your hand. You can ask your question by raising your hand and going live, or you can put your question in the Q&A. See there's questions in the Q&A. So if you want to ask your question, put your question in the Q&A or just raise your hand. Let's get God K in the building. Unmute your mic, bro.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Yes, King. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I think what we all have to realize, and I think we do already, we're dealing with psychopaths
Yep.
and they're cold-hearted. They have no compassion, no empathy. So for us as a community to try and like reason or talk with them, we're just wasting our time.
Waste. Absolute waste.
My second question is, does petitions and protesting really work? Because when I look back through all of these like certain unfortunate events that have affected us, what major change has actually come about as a result of petitions and protesting? And by the way, with petitions, you've got to be careful because that's data collection.
Yep.
Got your name,
Yep.
email, and they're going to be watching you.
Yeah.
So that's my question, really. Like, does protesting and signing petitions actually work?
They do seem to be somewhat of a waste of time because, like you say, it's about evidence. When have we seen a petition work, really and truly? I don't think we have. Do you get what I'm saying? Thank you for that, bro. Let's get Bianca in the building. You can unmute your mic, sis.
Hi, greetings everyone, and thanks.
Greetings.
I just wanted to say, I can't really find the information on
kind of like, so I know that Cambridge University were the ones that reopened this investigation against our brother Jason, and but I'm just trying to find out like just some kind of HR and policy stuff on, safeguarding and how this was, because when these things happen in university, people get done for plagiarism all the time. I
Yes.
understand that he's a professor, but this is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
There's always like guidelines in like what stays in the university and what doesn't. And if they
Hmm.
are doing this investigation, so they say, it should have just been kept inside. This shouldn't have got to the BBC. It shouldn't have been leaked. It shouldn't have, you know. Um, and I think that once that policy is kind of made public, like I think in terms of like petitions and stuff like that, that's something in law as a collective, as people that we can, use against the university to say like, no, what you've done is wrong, and it says in your policy, blah blah blah, that you shouldn't, this should have been an investigation that happened within the university and shouldn't have even
Exactly.
got further.
Yeah.
Now, I've done a little bit of research, not too much, but I know that he was a professor in, I think it was Glasgow University, and he also got a thesis, or this is his thesis in Liverpool University, and also, and then lastly, he was a professor in Cambridge University. And I just feel like if this is true, because they keep being on this bandwagon saying that it's true about the plagiarism, he wouldn't have got this far. That's just not how it works. Like if they would have
Exactly.
stopped him in Glasgow, they would have stopped him in Liverpool. I just think, like, me personally, I
Mm.
think he's been set up.
I do as well.
I
Exactly.
think this is a setup. I just feel like, yeah, but I'm gonna try and see if there is information about it, because if it was like a normal student, then maybe it would have went a different way. But I think, like with him being a professor, I think that's what they're kind of using to say, oh, he's done plagiarism, let the whole world know. But I want to know in terms of the safeguarding,
Hmm.
where it says it in their policy, because that is what's going to bite Cambridge University. And then that is going to be the main thing to what's going to really blow this out of proportion. And then, yes, if we come together as a collective to say, on this grounds, because remember, when we're talking, we need to
Hmm.
talk in their language. So we need to
Yes.
talk in legal language. So we have to say, like, this university has breached this, pull it as a petition, and then the House of Parliaments will have to listen. Otherwise, everyone over here in Birmingham will be
Mm.
outside number 10 Downing Street.
Right. Right. Thank you for that, sis. Very important information shared. Hold on one second, family. All right, let's get Flora in. And by the way, Flora, you can unmute your mic, sis. But I do agree with Bianca. I do feel like he was set up. So that's what I was saying. I was kind of saying, I feel like this has been a setup. Even him getting the role, I think he was getting set up. But here's the thing, when you're not versed in white supremacy, when you're not versed in the usual suspects, you'll think that these people are doing you a favor, or you'll think that these people truly like you when they give you a role. Yeah, not realizing it's part of their game. It's called racial showcasing. Again, I talk about it in my course, and I got this information from Neely Fuller Jr.'s book. Yeah, the counter-racist code book. He says it's showcasing. So when think about Barack Obama, that was racial showcasing. But we looked at it like it was an amazing thing, like, oh my gosh, there's the first black president, not realizing it's racial showcasing. It's part of their plan. It's a setup. They used him, and then once he's in there, they'll just hide behind his melanin and go to war and kill people and do all types of madness and not just hide behind Barack Obama. Yeah. Flora, sis, how are you?
Greetings, brother. This
Oh,
is not.
brother. How's it
Yes,
going, bro?
brother. Yeah, doing good. Yes, I just sent you a text message to say I'm connected on my wife's laptop. That's why you
Oh,
see her
okay.
name, but it's me.
Oh, okay. No worries, bro.
Yes, I'm going to try to organize my thoughts and then say things that might maybe surprise our brothers and sisters.
Okay.
First of all, I agree with your analysis.
Okay.
I believe that the brother was set up.
Yes.
But, and this is something to talk to my people
Mm-hmm.
and say to them, my people, this topic has been explained for decades. My people should know about Dr. Amos Wilson, who presented the situation over and over again in the 1980s.
Yeah.
And I have to speak in the same words that he spoke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that my people are surprised about what is going on. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? Bobby E. Wright in The Psychopathic Racial Personality talked about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Neely Fuller talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Frances Cress Welsing talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my people surprised about what these people are doing? Yes, I agree that the sister was saying, using strong language and get out of his life, but hey, who do you think you're dealing with? Is my people forgetting that those people who are looking at us don't have respect, don't have consideration, don't have love? It seems like this is the language that people think that those people are loving people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, who do you think you're dealing with?
That's it.
Do you think that these people are going to turn around and say that we love, consider? Hey, people, please stop it. Stop it. Go read books.
Yeah.
Read books and see who you're dealing with. Stop thinking that because you get a job that you are loved. Don't think that. I looked at this and my wife is next to me here and I'm just quietly listening and I'm thinking, I know exactly who I am dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know
Yeah.
that this woman who made those comments, her account is never going to be blocked.
Never.
Nope.
It's never going to be, as a brother that you and I know very well, when he'll do a particular broadcast and then YouTube will say, oh, your YouTube channel is under some investigation because of some
Exactly.
strike. Those people will never get that.
Mm-hmm.
And we should not be surprised. Why is my people surprised?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
That's
think
why
that
I feel like I've
you
got to bring back the course. I've got to bring back
yes,
the course. It's like people still are surprised about the system that we live in.
I'm getting tired of my people acting like this, walking in parks and saying that you should be happy. Hey, do you know who you're dealing with? Stop it. Read books. You are not dealing with friends. You're not dealing with friends.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people who've got an agenda and they will pursue it to perfection.
Yeah.
Brother
And
Bobby E. Wright, I think it's page 17, he said that a psychopath is someone who's going to do what he wants to do with no regard about your emotion, your feelings, your this. Hey, if this guy is dead, if his wife commits suicide or his partner or his kids, do you think that they will post something where they feel sorry?
nope.
People, please stop it. You know what, Leon? I'm going to stop talking. I get annoyed about my people not knowing who they're dealing with. That's my only thing. I don't know if my wife wants to add something. No, she says she doesn't.
Okay.
Hi,
There you go.
Leon.
Greetings, sis. How are you?
Yeah, hi.
Good, good, good.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
just upset.
I know it's so like it gets you so angry. Like it's like we're not learning. We're not learning.
Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you, brother. I feel like we need to like if you've watched any of my lectures or my podcast or been on the white supremacy course, you know I'm like Neely Fuller's book is so important. Neely Fuller Jr. wrote a book called The Counter Racist Code. In other words, how to counter the system that we're in. It's so detailed. The book will tell you what to say to them. The book will say when they say this, say that. When they do this, do that. It's literally he calls it a counter racist code. So he says they follow a code. We need to follow a code. That's the only way we're gonna get around this system is we follow a code. Now, part of that code is understanding when they're trying to use you. So the what's unfortunate, because we're not versed in white supremacy, or we're not versed in the system that we're living in, we believe that when we get a good job, yeah, especially if our face is being plastered everywhere, that's white appreciation, and that's a great thing. He got a lot of white appreciation 3 years ago when they were plastering his face everywhere, talking about he's the first or the youngest black. And think about what they did, yeah? They posted his face everywhere 3 years ago, saying, "Oh my gosh, this guy, he's the youngest black um professor at Cambridge and blah blah blah." In other words, a black dude got a job. A black dude got a really good job at a university, and we have to see his face and see all these pictures. Nah, that's profiling. That's well, no, profiling. That's what Neely Fuller calls showcasing. That's racial showcasing. You got a job. We didn't even need to know that you got that job, but they were setting him up. They had to let the world know about him 3 years ago. This was a setup. Again, this is my conjecture. Let's get Yvonne in. Yvonne, you can unmute your mic, sis.
Greetings,
Gre-
family.
Greetings.
Yeah, like everybody else, this was a very upsetting story, and it is always important to have a certain eye. And I've been following your works for many years, and it has helped actually because it gives you balance when these things happen.
Mm,
Helps you going off into the high emotional zone, which and that can take a lot out of people. I just wanted to comment on a couple of things actually.
hmm
The first thing is that we still don't know how he died. I know
No.
it's all implied that
Yeah,
all the implication is that he did it himself, but we don't know. We
that's such a good point.
really
That's such a good
don't.
point. We still don't know. So
We
people are
have
saying
no.
he
We're all.
unalived himself. We don't even
That's
know that's
right.
true.
That I've not heard it said on none of the news outlets have said he did it to himself. They've just said he was found dead.
Yes, good
So we
point.
have to really listen in to what exactly is being said here.
Good
We
point.
don't know whether and he did anything to himself. And I just want to
Mm,
go, I want to go. You mentioned the fact that it was set up from time and all the rest of it.
yep.
Look upon it from the point of view of the number of professors that there are. So there are 26,000 professors in the UK
hmm
universities, and of that, 270 are black. I don't know whether that's black and Asian, black and Chinese and Asian, or whether it's all black. I don't know.
Mm,
But that's 1%. And if anybody on this call wants to go and do a PhD,
hmm
there's already been reported by many, many people how hard it is to get somebody to be a supervisor. Very hard to get. You need to have a PhD per a professor to come and agree to take you on as you do your PhD. Without
Okay.
having a handshake, somebody to take you on and like a little hand, it's like a leg up. Without having
Mm,
somebody agree to take you on, you cannot do your PhD. Okay.
mm,
And the
mm.
magic about what Professor Arday was, whether he was, given the role set up, whatever, whatever. The magic of what he was a sociologist, okay, and autistic. So he's got perceptions that many people haven't got. He understands society.
Right.
Sociology, you understand nuance, you understand he understands race.
Yes.
So there might be loads of other PhD and professors around the country. They might be what's the word? Engineering. They might be physics. They might be art.
Mm,
He
mm.
had a special nuance, and the loss is immense because the number of people that could have come through him is no longer here. So we have to really recognize the fact that, and then I think it was earlier on this year, I think it was Professor Kehinde Andrews. He lost his job, and he was
Right.
the professor of global black studies, something like that,
Yes,
at,
yes.
at Birmingham University.
Mm,
So there's a lot of things happening which seem to be reducing the opportunities for Black people. I think this is not the same, but still linked. We had the Africa Centre about a month ago closed down. It was one building that celebrates Africanness in
mm,
England, and that's been closed.
mm, mm.
So there's a real sense of having to do for ourselves because if, as you said from that quote, if we don't understand racism, then everything else is going to confuse us. And I think that if we are pulling apart, not clear about what we're doing and investing in the wrong locations, we're just too vulnerable to being attacked, too vulnerable to this kind of thing happening. And I want to just finish on one last thing, which is
Yes.
the news. I mean, the news was coming in thick and fast. During the week, I was listening to BBC Radio. There's a famous journalist called James O'Brien, who people think is really balanced.
Mm.
And he was talking. I think his program is about 2 or 3 hours long, and I caught the tail end of it where he was saying that Professor Arday was a liar, and he spoke to him and he was a this, and it went on, and he was inviting people to come and share their discussion. Anyway, his program finished. The next lady took over for the next program, and she started it all off with the same story. And I was like, "Is there nothing else in the news?" And it
Nah,
was
man.
really heavy, and so I felt like they were really feeding this story so much to
Definitely.
make it just to keep it up. And then I had to look at the Sunday newspapers today to see what were the front covers. And it was not on any of the front covers apart from one newspaper that
Yeah.
implied that he had mental health issues.
Mm.
So I just want to
Crazy. But thank you for that, sis. Thank you. And good points made with regards to one, we need to understand the system, obviously. But yeah, these people were relentless with the amount of news articles and that sort of stuff. It was literally non-stop. And this is part of it as well. The usual suspects, they do follow a script. So when you kind of see patterns, you'll start to see their script. Who remembers when the three sisters went missing and then they were found unalived on the Brighton beach? Yeah, they said that that wasn't suspicious. Do you remember? The police said, "Oh, we're investigating, but it's not nothing suspicious here. Nothing suspicious here." Guess what they said after Jason Arday? The day, I think it was the day they found him, not even the day after. The day they found Jason Arde, they said, uh, it's, they said something along the lines of his death is unusual, but it's not suspicious. How can you say that when you've just found the man? Surely you need to quote unquote launch an investigation or do some form of police work before you turn around and say there's nothing suspicious. It was just too fast. So now you're noticing a pattern. And we still don't know what happened to those three sisters in Brighton. So now you're noticing a pattern. So obviously the usual suspects are involved in this. Obviously. Let's get Faturi. You can unmute your mic.
Greetings all.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Brother Liam. Yeah, this story really touched my soul. Because I just feel that, particularly within education,
Mm-hmm.
Black people need to be more conscious of what is happening in there.
Yes.
They are really ready to attack us in there. I mean, I started my journey in education as a lecturer, and I had to step out because they are so threatened by us and our
Mm.
intellect, and that they do everything they can to try and either not allow you to get elevated within the profession,
Yeah.
or they'll find another way to tear you down. So I
Mm-hmm.
just think that we as a people, like you keep telling us, we need to be really conscious of what is happening in there and
Yeah.
do what we can to protect ourselves and just go in there with the understanding that these people don't want us to shine. They
Right.
don't like us. They don't want to see that we actually, some of them are still going by the eugenic script, believing that we're not intellectually capable, which is total
Yeah.
nonsense.
Exactly.
They constantly feel threatened by our intellect.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that Cambridge just wanted to use this beautiful soul to shine and make it look as if they're suddenly, the whole DEI thing, they're trying
Yeah.
to create this so-called inclusivity, which is total crap. And then
Mm-hmm.
when all of this came to the forefront, where were they? Where
Exactly.
were they in terms of supporting this vulnerable young man who one day they lifted up and the next day they turned their back and allowed him to be publicly lynched? So
No
it just
duty of
tells us,
care.
yeah,
No.
no duty of care, nothing. So it just tells us everything that we are not safe around these people. And we need to go in there with our eyes wide open and understand that these people just can't take who we are. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, we you keep
Thank you
spreading
for
the
that.
word,
That's
keep
such a
spreading.
good point, sis. Thank you,
Yeah.
sis. Let's get God K back in the building. Unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yes.
I know the sister said that we've got to have our eyes open when we go in there.
Yeah.
We don't need to go anywhere. I know it's going to be a long journey, but we need to build our own platforms. And I think when I had a conversation with you, Leon, prior to Jason's transition,
Mm-hmm.
I did mention that he should go on and build his own personal brand. So whether that's going on an online education platform and teach
Yeah.
way and not even bother going back to that, Oxford or Cambridge or anything like that. I just feel that we just need to just be, there's so many platforms that we can use to kind of grow our own, like what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And until we get to that point, and I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but that's where we need to be. We don't need to be going into these institutions. We don't need to be going into their companies. Like, yes, once we've got our education and what have you, then we need to start building our own thing.
This is true.
Into
This
there,
is true.
it's just trauma, man. Pure trauma.
Yeah, but as you know, brother, like with me, for the people who are listening who may not know my story, I worked at LSBU. I worked at London South Bank University. I was a quote unquote professor. Do you get what I'm saying? I was in the system. I was working in the system as a professor. I was a sports science lecturer, yeah, at London South Bank University for many years. And because I wanted to start running, my own black holistic health courses and that sort of stuff and teach people about melanin, I knew I couldn't do that as a university lecturer. So that's the reason why I created the Hidden Science Academy and blah blah blah. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because I don't work there no more. But I used to use the university for my courses and my events. I worked there, so I'd just book out a lecture theatre and behind their back, I would put on events and put on my course. So can you imagine? These universities, they use these universities to miseducate us. So black people go to university, you don't realize you're being miseducated. And then I was using the university to educate. I was literally using LSBU and I was putting on events, I was putting on black holistic health courses, and I was re-educating black people. And they didn't even know it because I was doing it behind their back. Do you get what I'm saying? But that's someone who's well versed in the system, well versed with the usual suspects. I knew what to expect. Do you get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
was even telling the the security guards, okay, there's gonna be a lot of black people coming this Saturday, just to let you know. I had to make sure they were kind of vetted. Do you get me? And screen them and say, I don't want this security guard working at the university this week because they're gonna tell on me and all that sort of stuff. And what happened, yeah, again, as you know, brother, when I left, and because I left because they wanted lecturers to get the jab, and I weren't gonna get the jab. So when I left, I started doing my online stuff, and everything blew up online and that sort of stuff. Yeah, these people came for me like no other. I don't tell this story a lot because I just know it's part of the game, and I just kind of took it on the chin. But they came after me. They're the reason why I don't have a website right now. They attacked my website. They were deleting videos off of my website. They were messing up my memberships. They were going into my bank account. They were doing all types of madness. That's what happens when you try and do your own thing. They are going to come after you. Now, I've touched wood and we give thanks to the Most High and the people around me. I've survived it, but I don't think a lot of people would want to go through that. And that's the reason why they'd rather just stay in the job that they're in, stay in the nice job. Because if they try and do their own thing, these people will try and come for you, and you now know how relentless these people are when they. To this day, I don't have a website because of these folks. Every time I try and put up the website, they attack it, and then Tutu's cyber attack, Tutu's the website's down again. We can do our own thing, but we need to understand that doing our own thing, you're up against the biggest enemy ever. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
why it needs to be all of us. Because if it's just me, it's easy for them to just attack me. If it's all of us, it's harder. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that just to your point, that's That's the reason why I believe a lot of us don't do it because doing it means, I mean, go back to America. Tuskegee, not Tuskegee, Tulsa. They tried to create their own Black Wall Street, yeah, where all the black people were working together. We had our own shops, we had our own restaurants, we had our own hospital. What did they do? What did they do in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
They bombed it, rude boy. They bombed it.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So we need to understand if we're gonna do it, we need to have some form of military to just protect ourselves from just living our lives. Just do it. Like literally, they won't allow us to just come out of the system and do our own thing. They will attack it. So as long as we're all prepared for the attack and we're all prepared to fight, then yeah, I reckon we can all do our own thing. But a lot of people are not prepared for that attack because they don't like my brother was saying earlier, a lot of us don't know who we're dealing with. So unfortunately, the guy here, Jason Arday, he didn't know who he was dealing with. He had no idea how vile and vicious these people are. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I do agree that we need to do our own thing, but doing our own thing comes with consequences as well.
Yeah. Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, and it's a tough road, but it in the end, it's much better. I'm much happier not being at the university than working at the university and doing my own thing. But yeah, it comes with trials and tribulations, and a lot of us are scared of that.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, nice one, bro. Let's get Freddie in the building. Freddie, you can unmute your mic, bro. Freddie, are you there? Something going on with the mics. Let me bring you down. All right. Last questions. Anyone who wants to ask a question, raise your hand now. But all right, let's try Freddie one last time. Freddie, you can unmute your mic. And for some strange reason, you're not coming through. See, little things like this, as you guys know, when I start going in, usual suspects start to do all types of madness with my with my Zooms. Now all of a sudden people are raising their hand and they can't unmute their mic and little things like you gotta understand who you're dealing with. These people don't play, but I say it go. Next time, Freddie, out for whatever reason it never worked. But let's wrap up, family. Let's wrap it up. And again, like I say, it is my conjecture that they got him. Who remembers the film Get Out? Who remembers Get Out? Yeah. Remember the sunken place? The sunken place basically was when the usual suspects get you. When the usual suspects have got you, the black person looks different. When you look at someone who's in the sunken place, they look kind of different. Yeah. They it's like the usual suspects, they've got you. That's my analogy for what I thought of when I saw him. Again, this was 3 years ago when I started to see that they were posting this guy and saying, yeah, he's the first black or youngest black professor, blah, blah, blah. And again, this is no disrespect to him or his family. I'm just saying what I thought when I first saw him. Even before I saw that picture of his dark skin, I was like, I feel like they've touched this guy already. I feel like they've touched him already. Unfortunately. Do you get what I'm saying? Especially when you look at images like this. This guy is a dark skinned guy. He is a dark skinned man, yet the images that we see of him, his skin is very light. You know me, I'm on the melanin thing. I'm like, did he do that to himself? He couldn't, or did they? I don't know. I don't know. But there does seem to be an issue there. Let me get Paul in the building. Paul, you can unmute your mic, bro. Let's see
Yes,
if Paul.
good evening, Brother Leon. Good evening.
Yes.
Thanks again for another wonderful show, my brother.
Thank
Well
you, bro.
done. And it's a hot topic. It's a hot
It's
topic,
a
this.
very hot topic.
It's a hot topic. I mean, Brother Jason Arday, I mean, what a public assassination of this talent and gifted professor in the UK. It
Yeah.
just goes to show that the institutional racism in our educational establishments, even Cambridge, Oxford, and those top universities, is the same as it's always been. You know,
Mm,
as
mm,
the lady said earlier, some of these institutions are still dealing with eugenics, that type of theory about black people being less intelligent and unworthy. You know,
mm.
unworthy. I mean, I was listening to Nathan Kuslas, the gentleman who apparently outed Jason Arday, and the things that he was saying about DEI being pushed deliberately, and
Yeah.
black people not being worthy enough to be professors. And he was basically
Mm,
saying blatantly that Jason Arday was not at the right level to be a professor.
mm-hmm.
He was saying that openly. And this is a guy that was also sacked by the University of Cambridge back in
Mm,
2024. So, I
mm.
mean, you know, so it's a case of maybe probably jealousy, but these people are jealous of our talent.
Exactly.
Jason, a young man, his background and everything there is like you know, it's like a fly in the milk. You know what I mean? This guy, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm,
You got no protection, no
mm,
protection by the leadership at the University of Cambridge. No, no,
mm,
no, no, no protection. And as you just rightly said there, Brother Leon, a
mm.
lot of us as black people don't know what we're dealing with with institutional racism.
We
It's
don't.
horrendous. And
We
I'm sorry
don't.
to hear about your story. I mean, I learned a bit more about your story this evening when you just said the way that
Yeah.
they attacked you. And you've done a
Yeah.
fantastic job. Well done, brother, for what you're doing and what you continue to do. You know what I mean? I've been
Yeah.
following
And I
you
just
since
want to add the
2019.
reason why
Well
they
done to
came
you.
after me so much was
Yeah, it was
because I
harsh.
came out during 2020 and I was
Yeah.
talking about the vaccines. So that's the reason why
Oh,
they came after me with force. They
with
came after
force.
me with force because I was
Wow.
saying to black people, don't be taking that poison. So they
Yeah,
came
yeah,
after
yeah,
me
yeah,
with
yeah.
force.
It's horrendous. You know, you've got and the educational institutions, they know that is our leading way of gaining any type of empowerment as a community. So they
Mm,
try to stop us there.
mm.
You know what I mean? But they can't stop us all, though. They can't stop us all.
There
We'll
you
always,
go.
I mean, Jason Arday, his spirit will live on and it'll fight through us. Just like our leaders of the past, it'll fight through us.
There
So
you go.
ain't no stopping us now.
That's it. Strength in numbers. That's what it's about. And I share that story just to let people know that there is consequences when you try and do your own thing. I agree. We don't actually need their jobs. We could literally make more money and have more impact not working for them than working for them. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm having more of an impact now not working for London South Bank University than I did working for London South Bank University and having that big professor status over my name. Oh, Leon's a professor at university, you know, he works at the wow, he's done so well. I'm making more of an impact now, yeah, and touching more lives now and making more money now than I did at LSBU. Do you get what I'm saying? But it comes with consequences, and a lot of us we don't know who we're dealing with, so we don't we're not ready for those consequences. When they came after me, I was just I couldn't I because I was versed in white supremacy, I knew they'd come after me, but the way they came up, listen, that you see the video that I showed, what was it, last week or the week before, where I was talking where I was going back and forth with the black doctors. I debated the black doctors, made them look silly and that sort of stuff. They blocked that video everywhere when I first put it out. They blocked it on YouTube. They blocked it on social media. They blocked it everywhere. They blocked it on Vimeo. They blocked it, blocked it, blocked it, blocked it. So I was like, okay, cool. You guys are blocking the video. I've got my own site, thehiddenscienceacademy.com. I run my own membership for my members. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the video on my own server and just allow my members to watch the video. You know what these psychopaths done? These psychopaths went into my server. Mind you, the only people that can get into my server is me and my web developer. Yeah? These psychopaths got into my server and deleted the video off my server. These people, you don't understand. Like I was just like, bruh, these people are mad. These people are crazy. So you gotta know what you're up against. But yeah, going back to Jason Arday, he when I was looking at these images, it did look like he was in the sunken place. Yeah, it did look like they'd already got to him. They'd already got to him. Do you understand? And who remembers the movie Get Out and remember this character and how he looked? Remember, he was in the sunken place. Remember how he looked. He'd do these kind of fake smiles, and you could just see it in his eyes. Thank you, baby Rasta. The eyes don't lie. You could see it in his eyes. He was already gone. He was already gone. Now remember from the movie, they brought him back. It was the light. It was the light from the phone. But that's analogy of light. In other words, sunlight. Enlightenment. Light will bring you back. So he was in a dark place. He was in the sunken place, and light brought him back. Now, light is synonymous with knowledge. Light is synonymous with the sun, the sun Ra, you know what I mean? God, divinity. So light can bring you back. So even if you're in the sunken place, light can bring you back. But just look at that smile, look at his eyes, look at his demeanor, yeah? Look at his chin, family. Just look at this image, and then look at this image. Scary, I know. The same smile, the same, like Baby Rasta said, the eyes don't lie. You can kind of see something. Do you get what I'm saying? It's crazy. It is crazy. And this is the reason why we need to have a support system. I wouldn't have been able to survive the attacks that I've been getting over the last 5, 6 years if we didn't have a support system. So even though I'm versed in white supremacy, I still needed a support system. So I've got a very good support system around me. I I don't know if this brother has a great support. I don't know. But when these people come after us, we need to be able to protect our own. Do you get me? We need to be able to protect our own because when they do come after us, especially when they use media, it is vicious. It's non-stop. It is non-stop. All right, family. Thanks for everyone for staying right to the end. By the way, my new book, Melanin and Cannabis, is going to be available on Amazon in next month. It's going to be available next month, family. So I cannot wait for this. I'm working hard to get this out for the family. If this is your first time watching the podcast, I'm the author of The Hidden Sites of Melanin, which is on Amazon right now. And this is my second book, Melanin and Cannabis. And it's not even about cannabis. For those that don't know, you have a system inside of you. Every single one of us has a system inside of us that is called the endocannabinoid system. And it creates these cannabis-like chemicals inside of us. And when they're activated, it puts us on a natural high. In other words, we don't need to use cannabis. We don't need to use the plant to get high. We can put ourselves on a natural high if we activate these chemicals inside of us. Yeah. And I break that down in this book. It's coming out next month. I cannot wait, family. Working hard on it. Big up the people who have pre-ordered. Don't worry, you're going to get your signed copy as soon as it's ready. And that'll be dropping. And then there's lots of events. I'm going to be at lots of events during September and October. So I'm going to see the family. I'm going to be out and about. Do you get me? I can't wait to chop it up with you guys at these events. Yeah. So if this is your first time joining, this is Marshall's Melanin Podcast. We do this each and every Sunday. Yeah. If you are on social media, you can follow me at Leon Marshall Online. That's my Instagram at Leon Marshall Online. And the Hidden Sites Academy, we've got a YouTube. We've got so many videos to post. I still haven't posted any of the videos from our Black Hair event. Wait until you see those videos. And then I still haven't posted any videos from our reggae event. Wait until you see those videos, family. So all of those are coming up. So yeah, big up the family. Big up everyone for staying right to the end. Large up the people who have been supporting me for a little while. I know that a lot of you don't even may not have known my story, but I weren't gonna complain because I know that's part of that's what fuels them as well. I think God K said it in the chat earlier. He said, or someone said it, they said that our pain is their pleasure. Yeah. So our emotion, when we're emotional and we're in pain or we're down and trodden, that's like pleasure to them. That is, they feed off of that. So when I was going through what I was going through, I made sure I did not make them think I was weak. I made sure I didn't make them think, oh, you've got me. Do you get what I'm saying? I made sure of it. I didn't post no video saying, oh, these people are attacking me, and oh, they've taken down my website, and oh, they won't allow me to work, and they've gone into my bank account. And I wasn't doing none of that because I know if they saw that, they'd be like, yes, we got him. Yes. No, I understand how this thing works. So I just took it on the chin. I knew I'd bounce back. I knew I'd bounce back. So I just took it on the chin. But yeah, I might have to bring back the course, family. Everyone's talking about bringing back the course. I might have to bring back the white supremacy course because people need to know this thing. It's so, so important. But yeah, large up everyone for staying right to the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope to see you guys next week for another podcast. So enjoy the rest of your week, family. One love.
Genius. If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time.
My name is Leon Marshall, and that concludes the end of this podcast. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. You're a part of history, trust me. And just remember, be the light you seek. Just shine, man. More light, more love, more life. One.
Thanks for listening to Marshall's Melanin Podcast. If you like this episode, share it with your friends and family. To watch previous episodes, search Marshall's Melanin Podcast on YouTube. And if you're on Instagram, follow the scientist at Leon Marshall Online. Tune in next week for another explosive episode. And remember, keep shining.